In my recent video, we made this junk journal cover out of some Amazon packaging. So today, let's work on some signatures. Welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria. As you might remember from part 1, this is a design team project for the Digital Collage Club. And these are some of the digitals I'm using for the signatures, which I will also list in the description box for you. So I will be using some of the pages from the Vintage Fashion Journal Kit, as well as the Steampunk Journal Kit. And I will also be adding probably some sepia butterflies and some hot air balloons. So I think all these kits go together really well, and my intention for this journal is to celebrate us amazing women throughout history with a little bit of focus on the 1920s, as you will see from the images that I chose. And what inspired me for this theme is the Vintage Fashion Journal Kit created by Tina for the club. So with the link and coupon codes below, you will get a 5% discount for the annual membership or a $10 discount for the lifetime membership. Before we get into making the signature, I want to just quickly finish up the inside of the cover. So I did one thing off camera. I did not like the white inside, so I painted 2 layers of this vintage paint in the color jade green, which actually looks a lot, in my eyes, a lot like the speckled egg from Tim Holtz. So I got this recently, the Dutch chain Action. I have a haul video of that up in case you missed that. I want to see that. I will link that below for you as well. So 2 coats of that instead of the white inside, and as you can see, it looks kind of one-dimensional. So I'm going to try to fix that by adding some dry brushing with this chalky paint in ginger. So this color is called ginger. It's like a very light tan. I'm just going to use this plastic card here as my palette, and I'm going to add just a little bit here. So with dry brushing, it is very important, as the term says, to have a dry brush. And I think it helps to have a dry brush that has a pretty big surface, like this, or maybe like this. And we don't use a lot of paint. That's also very important. So I'm going to make sure that I don't have a huge amount of paint on my brush. And then I'll just go over the whole inside, and I will maybe start with where the ribbon is here, because I think we'll see it the best there. So I think this just kind of brings out all the textures that we have going on here that we don't really see currently. I think it's good to have like circular motions. I'm no expert in this technique, but I have tried it a couple of times and I am always super happy with the result. And I think it works really well when you have a darker background and then you add a lighter color on top. It could even be with gesso, or you have 2 shades of one color. By mixing it with gesso or with white paint, you can just make the color lighter and use the same color. This kind of, I think, gives it like a nice dusty feel. And I really like that for a vintage type journal. So the key is really to not add a lot of paint on your dry brush. You can always add more if you think it's not showing up well. But if you add too much in the beginning, you can't really get it off again. So I think this can definitely use a little bit more. And it also helps to use a light hand. Don't press too too much, especially if you have a bit more paint on your brush. And you just continue until you like what you see, basically. And I think I like what I see now. So we have here a nice dusty looking inside cover. And I will just let that dry for a moment. I printed these pages from the two journal kits, the vintage fashion one and the steampunk one. You see here they fit together so well. I printed them on regular A4 copy paper. Now my issue is that the dimensions of this cover do not fit this size. So if I would fold these in half, because usually what would make sense, of course, is to probably print these back to back and then you have these beautiful journal pages, but of course that doesn't work in this case because you see here the format is off, and I think it would just kind of look weird if all my pages were like that. So what I'm going to do is I already prepared some other coffee dyed pages that I have here. These are some ledger papers that I have coffee dyed, and I've added some ink and some distressed daubers. I have a video where I show how to get these kind of designs. I will link that for you below as well. So these are quite grungy looking, but that's what I like. If you don't, then obviously you just use your regular pages, or maybe you have a cover where these will fit in just fine. But what I did was I cut these down to fit the size of my journal. And let me just tell you how many I used. 1, 2. So I have 13 double pages here, and the width of my spine is probably about 1 inch, I would say. So I think these will fit in here quite nicely, and of course it's going to expand. And I thought what I would do with these prints instead is to cut them down. I don't know if this will work for all of the pages. Actually, they should fit. So my pages are wider than my A4 folded in half. So I could cut all of these down and then just glue them onto these pages. But of course, I'm not going to glue on every page. I will leave some blank pages in between as well. And I'm going to vary between these of the vintage fashion kit and the steampunk kit. I didn't print so many of the steampunk kit. I think I only have 3. Yeah, there's only 3 of those. The rest are from the vintage fashion kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all of these in half and then glue them onto some of these pages. Instead of my trimmer, I'm going to use my ruler to just tear them in half. I think that looks better than cutting it with the trimmer. I like the torn edge. I think it might be quicker as well. I think these images are so fun, especially the 1920s images. I think are just super cute. Look, love this one. Oops, you can't see it. I love this one. Especially with the script underneath. That might be my favorite page actually out of all of the kit. Having 13 of these double-sided papers gives me 52 sides to put something on. I have 18 of these pages now, so if I divide 52 by 18, I get about, I think, 2.8. So I can put an image on about every 3rd page, I'm thinking. And I will attach these, I think, just with my tacky glue by just attaching them on the edges. Because I'm thinking if I glue them down with a glue stick and put glue all over, it will make these pages more stiff, which I really don't want. And I just need to choose the order. And I just want to see which one is the first one I want. This might be a cute one to start off with, or this one actually. I think I like this one as a cover. It's not a cover, but it would be the first page in our journal. So I'm just gonna pick and choose images and then glue them in. And why not add one to the middle of a signature as well, or middle of a double page. That way you still have some writing space on either side, or we could attach some ephemera or something. Clearly, I have not thought this through because I have 13 double-sided pages, so I need to arrange them into different signatures. 13 is not a good number because I can't divide it by 2 or 3. So I think I want 3 signatures in the spine. So I'm going to add 2 more of these pages so that I have 15 and I can put 5 pages in each signature. So this I want to be the start of my first signature. And this I want to be the middle of my first signature. So I just need to add 3 more in between. 1, 2, 3, and that gives me 5 for this first signature. And I will of course be adding some more images to this. And then I just need to take 5 more and put them in each other, and I should have 5 left. 5, so that's my second signature, and I'll do the same thing for the last one. 5. Okay, so now I have my 3 signatures. This makes much more sense. And now I can go through them and see where I need to put what. So I have one on the front. I'll leave 2 blank and add something here. This is what we need. So I finished putting all the pages in, and before I show you a flip through of this, I wanted to add 3 more things to my pages. I printed 3 of these sheets on what we call transparent paper. I think it is the closest to a vellum. I bought this on Amazon in Germany, and it's just called transparent paper. This is what it looks like before I print on it. It is quite thick. It's 85 GSM, so that means it's 5 GSM thicker than regular printer paper, but it seems like actually it's heavier, maybe because it has a different consistency, but it seems very heavy and very sturdy. I guess it's vellum. I don't know what else it would be. Let me show you the 3. So that's 1. So I want to use her, and this one, and this one. And what I want to do is I'm going to trim around them, get rid of the white edge as well. And I want these to be flip-ups on some of the pages, and I think I want to do that 1 page per signature. So I needed 3 different images, and of course we'll have some left over. So this one, for example, will be left over. I'm sure we can think of something to do with that. So I'm just gonna trim around these, and then I'll add them to my pages. I have stitched those 3 in, so now let me give you a flip through of what we have so far in here. This is one of the vellum pieces, and you see I stitched it with a zigzag stitch with a black thread through the page. So we have the stitching here as well, which I think is really nice. You can also hand stitch it, maybe with just a straight stitch with some embroidery thread. That would look really nice. You could also just run your glue along here, and then if you wanted to, you could add a faux stitching with a pen. So there's a lot of options if you want to do this. And I think this is really nice to have like a flip up here and some journaling space underneath. And then I wanted all the end pages and the beginning pages of the signatures to have prints on them. So there's our second piece of vellum. If you are a subscriber of the Your Creative Studio box, they often have beautiful vellum papers in the boxes. So maybe you could use some of those also for your journal. I think that might be fun. Another way to use your vellum. So that's the end of the second signature, and this is the third and final signature. And in each middle of the signature, I put the print right in the middle, which I think is really nice. And there's the third vellum piece. So cute. I love it. So let's see how they fit into our journal. We are of course not done yet. We want to make some more ephemera, but just so we have a feeling of how snug this is. Yeah, this is getting quite bulky already. Look at that. I wanted this journal to have a lot of writing space. So I'm not going to fill it up with embellishments, but of course we do want a little bit more in here. This leftover piece I think would make a really cute envelope because it's perfect that she is up here in the corner. So that means we can just do this, fold this up, and then fold the flap down. And that way she's right on the front. And all we need to do is either glue or stitch these two sides down. And I think I will stitch it since I already have some stitching in the signatures. Why don't we continue that stitching theme? And now I want to make a half circle up in here just for decorative purposes. This is my smallest hole punch or circle punch. I don't know how big it is. It doesn't say, unfortunately. Looks like maybe 1/2 inch. Like that. And then I think I want to add some lace to this. I have this beautiful piece of black lace, which was gifted to me a while ago. And I think I'm going to try to see what it looks like if I just put a strip up here. I've never, I think, in my life used black lace, so I think this is the perfect project to do that. And of course I'm again thinking of Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah. She has really inspired me to use lace more. Maybe not quite as much as she does, but definitely more than I have been. So I think that looks pretty cool. Maybe we'll add something else to it. Now, how do we attach this? I was thinking of adding it with some gel medium, but that will make this warp, so that's not good. Could use double-sided tape. It's always a question. The vellum is such a diva. I just had another idea. I stitched it on with my zigzag stitch. So no problem with any liquid glue or anything sticking anywhere. This is better. And now I thought maybe we could add another piece of lace on top, just on a part of it. Like that. And maybe we could even add a button. So I have my buttons here. So either a white or a maybe even a black one. This might be blue. Yeah, this is blue. The black is interesting. I don't think I've ever used a black button either. It's actually dark gray. This one would be really black. Oh, I like that one. Oh, let's see what the white would look like. Something more like off-white or pearl even. Oh, that's nice too. This would be my one chance to use a black button. Yep, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I like the white too, but in this case I will do the black. So I think I'm again gonna, no, I'm not gonna stitch this. Always the glue is really a question. Actually, I'm just going to use my glue stick. That might be weird, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just don't want anything too liquid. And then I'm going to sew through it anyway, because I'm going to sew the button through. Interestingly, I don't have a black embroidery thread. Look at that. So I will just do this white. Maybe with like an off-white. Yep. These ladies here, I think, would make a fun pocket. We just need to trim it down here. And I'll again make a half circle on top. And I will find a page to again sew around this. So I stitched this into the middle signature on one of the left pages. So this is a cute little vellum pocket now, and of course we see the stitching on the back, which I rather like, but obviously if that bothers you, then either just glue it on or stitch it on and then cover it up with another printable. And then we still have this piece left, and one thing we could do, but I don't think I will, we could just sew it onto one of the pages just by sewing around the 3 here, and then maybe put a half circle in here and then have a cute side loading pocket. Or I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this in two. Since we have an image here and an image here, we can just cut this, and maybe this one with her we could use as a belly band, and this one we could use as a side tuck spot. So let me go ahead and cut this. On the side loading tuck spot, I want to again make a half circle. So having put that on the left side, it commits me to attaching it to a right-sided page, which is okay. I think the envelope I'll put in the first signature. So these two can then be maybe in the last signature. So the last signature starts here. So maybe we put one here. Now obviously this is shorter than the whole page length, so maybe it's better to put it on the bottom right, and then we just sew or glue along here and leave this open. I'm wondering if we should even cut that off. No, that's weird. Okay, so I'll just sew it here and here. And then we'll find a page for the belly band, maybe more towards the end. There's nothing here, so that would work. Is that going to be weird if it's kind of like in the middle of the page? No, why not? If I sew it, I of course need to think, yeah, I don't think it will bother if this image, if I sew on the top and the bottom, that should be fine. So this is that tuck spot here on the side. So we see the stitching here, which I think is absolutely fine. You could also, of course, stitch with a white or a tan thread if you don't want it showing as much as mine is, but I kind of like the contrast. And then where's our other one? So the belly band is here. It is a little bit crooked, but I think it's okay. And we see the stitching here and here, which I think is okay as well. So now we need to still add our envelope, which needs to go in the first signature. And I think I want it going over the edge of the page, so this might be a good one. So maybe like this. Then we don't see her. Maybe not so good. I could just attach it, of course, like this with a paper clip. There's nothing here, so maybe this would be better. All right, let me just attach it like this for now, and if I want to, I can obviously still change that. I mentioned earlier that another thing I printed were the sepia butterflies. That is one page with butterflies. I printed them first in the original size, which is huge, which I think is really fun. And then I printed them a lot smaller. I think this might have been 10%. I think it's 10%. So they are, like, I would say like the normal size that we would use in collaging or something. And I really like the big size, because what I want to try to do is I'll take the biggest one, which is this one. And I want to see if I can maybe attach or add half of him to a page. I think that might look really fun. Something like this. Maybe even with something underneath. So let's cut the poor guy in half. I'm sorry. And we can put the other half on another page. Maybe down here. And let's see what we could add underneath him. So here's some of the other ephemera that I printed from those kits. And fussy cut already. There's some fun bingo cards as well. And there's also these 2 envelopes that I think we have to do. And this is from the Steampunk Journal Kit. These are really fun as well. And of course there's also some balloons. Some hot air balloons, which are fun. What about this one? And what if we kind of like, there is something on this page, but I don't think that matters. Why don't we fold this over? Yes, I might have to ink around both of these actually. And we could maybe add another one on the boot. And maybe some more texture behind the butterfly. Like maybe another piece of that lace. So it totally makes sense to use the same elements throughout the journal to make it all cohesive. Maybe even a piece of that black one here. This could even be a tuck spot. So if I just glue it down here and on the side and leave this open, we could make that into a tuck spot. Why not? So I'll ink everything up and glue everything down. And finally, I want to add this My Story, which is actually from my own shop. Just thought it needed something. Let's find a page for the other half of the butterfly. So that needs to go on a left page, maybe in the last signature to keep them far apart. This one might be a good one. There's nothing here. Maybe we should do it here because there's nothing. And let's use this one here. And we could do the exact same thing. I kind of like it not being straight. So we'll do this a little farther down, then we'll add the butterfly, that, and do we do anything else? Let's add another strip of this black lace underneath. Okay, it's all inked up and glued down, but I also think it's missing something. I don't want to add another butterfly, but maybe we could add a button or two. Either on the wing or on the lace. I think that is okay. I'm not gonna sew through them because I should have done that before. But I could still kind of sew through them, just the button itself, and make a knot. Because it kind of looks empty. Just a simple double knot. And trim the ends. And I will attach these with my 3-in-1 glue. Glue gun would have been great, but I don't have it here. It's not heated up. Details I pay attention to when I would glue something like this is, for example, you see the buttons they have some lines going down, so I'm making sure that they go in the same direction. Yeah, this is what a perfectionist does. And here I'd like to add the word wander. In the meantime, it is now the next day and I have spent many hours decorating the inside of this journal. Everything is done, the insides are sewn in, and as you can maybe see, I also got my nails done and my hair cut, and I had to have another COVID test to do that. So all is good. So you can see here they are sewn in with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. If you don't know how to do that, if you are a beginner, I will link a video for you in the description box where you can see how I do that. It is super simple. You can see she has become quite chunky, and I actually think it's the perfect size. So let's open her up. So I will give you a flip through. So this is, again, this is the mixture of several different kits, all of which are listed below. I added a whole bunch of my own words. So in the front here we have just a paper for extra journaling from the, obviously from the Steampunk kit. So then we have the 3 signatures. We have a whole bunch of journaling cards. So this one we made together, this pocket. This and a few others are the journal pages. This is from the vintage women's fashion kit. And all I did was, this was a full-size journal page and I printed it out a lot smaller. I think this might have been 70%. I did some stamping on the back, and you see here there's an eyelet and some ribbon. These are both from the Sepia butterfly kit. We have another journaling kit, journaling card. This is also from another journaling page where I just cut her out, added some stamping and some lace on the bottom. Here I made another tuck spot. This was one of the clip art images. And have some more lace trim up there. Then I added a bunch of these cards. These are the ones that we also have here in the front. So I wanted to continue with those inside. This one we made together. Then here's a tag. So this is a die cut and I glued this on, and this is another die from another part of the prints. On the back we have another butterfly. Some lace trim. And what I did before I sewed my signatures in with a pamphlet stitch, I actually sewed down the middle of each signature with the sewing machine. I felt like that was really good to do because it made the processing of sewing them together easier, and I also think it holds them in really nicely. Here's another sentiment and another one of the butterflies. Here's another one of those cards with 2 different type of lace. On this one, I added some lace on the bottom and some buttons. Here I just added lace on top. Here's another tuck spot I made. This number is from the Grunge number kit. I will link that down below for you as well. Here's another journaling card that I made from a full page. Another butterfly here. And there's an eyelet here again, and the ribbon. This is another cutout from one of the pages and just some collaging here. Another one of those pockets with one of my sentiments, listen to your heart. Another journaling card. This was again a full page. And we have a stamp of an hourglass and some lace on the back. This pocket we made together, and I just added the limited edition. And then this was another full journaling page, added some lace, another one of the butterflies, and some stamping in the back. This was one of the 2 tiny envelopes. This is from the Steampunk Kit. I did some collaging on top there, and I stuck in one of the hot air balloon images that I cut out, and this closes with a magnet. And we have some more collaging inside and a tiny little card in here with some stamping on the back. Just added the card and some lace and 2 buttons. Added some lace up here. Added this tuck spot. Again, this was a full journaling page. Some stamping on the back. This one I left. Here I made another tuck spot here by cutting out with a die cut one of the images from one of the bingo cards. Framed it with a die and added a stamped image here that I had. And this was again a full journaling page. Added this stamp. A lot of these stamps are from the Your Creative Studio boxes. Added this blue lace trim on the bottom and this card with this image and the Enjoy the Journey. Here I just added another butterfly in that frame. Made another tuck spot here with another die cut from these bingo cards. Added one of the Grunge numbers and some sewing here. And this was another one of the cutouts I made from a full journaling page, and added some lace and stamping on the back. This was what we made together, and I just added a print of a full double page for some extra writing space. This I left. Here's the other second tiny envelope. So we have another little hot air balloon card, some stamping in the back. And this one doesn't have a magnet, but it has a little button and lace here. And inside is another one of those tiny cards. And a rub-on with scissors on the back. And lace and another sepia butterfly. These were just some pieces I had left that I thought I would use. I think it's a nice decorative edge. This one we made together. I added this tag with a little collage here and another rub-on on the back. The rub-ons are also from the Your Creative Studio boxes. I added here this card, another lace and 2 buttons. And I left the twine quite long. Could be cut off if that bothers anyone. This we did together. Here's just another collage with one of the cards, and in this belly band I added this was another full journal page, and I added the stamping on the back. I just love using the full journal pages as like to shrink them down to make them journaling cards or something. Here I just added 2 pieces of lace and one of the sepia butterflies. Here's another tuck spot I made. This is another full journaling page And I stamped the scroll on the back. This was another Your Creative Studio one. And this was the last page, and here I added a pocket as well. These are both from the Steampunk Kit, and it says there's no beauty without some strangeness from Oscar Wilde. And I added another one of the full journaling double pages from the Steampunk Kit. And that is the journal. It's been a really long time since I've made a journal, like a full journal like this. I really enjoyed the process. I was obsessed with it while I was making it. Like every time I woke up in the night, I had some thoughts of what else I wanted to add. I don't know if you have similar experience. Oh yeah, and then I sewed in the signatures upside down. Does that ever happen to you? Like all three of them, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, it was not so difficult to correct. But I love that it's like, it has a perfect format, and yeah, it just fills it up really nicely. It seems like a substantial book. So to recap, it was, I think, 52 sides that we have, and I will write down the measurements right here because I know somebody's gonna ask me. But of course, it depends on what your Amazon packaging is. I mean, you can always cut it down, of course, but I would just go with whatever packaging you have and then adapt your insides accordingly like I did. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you. Love you guys. Mwah. Mwah.